Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live. Coming at you in the bottom of the seventh inning, in the middle of a 9-4 game. Rangers have just made a pitching change, going to David Robertson to get them out of the bases loaded jam. We'll bring you the play-by-play as we can. Ball one in the dirt, bases loaded, 2 outs at the moment. Rangers up by 5 runs. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to Right on Rangers Live. A lot of different options out there for baseball and Rangers content. Thank you for choosing us. Here at Right on Rangers, we cover pretty much everything sports, but we put a little bit of an extra emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. And we're coming at you late night as the Rangers are out on the West Coast playing in Anaheim. Great game so far. Outstanding game so far if you're a Rangers fan. And we're here to finish it out with you. Game is in the bottom of the 7th inning right now. David Robertson on right now facing Kevin Pillar in a 1-2 count with 2 outs and the bases loaded. I'm going to bring in some people from TikTok here. And looks like we've got a few other people showing up on our socials. I'm sure we'll get a few people coming in as the game winds down, but it is a little bit late in Texas right now. Not sure how many Rangers fans went ahead and stayed up for this one, but out here in Las Vegas, this is primo start time for me, with it being a 6:38 Pacific time start. One of the few times it actually kind of lines up with normal schedule out here. Of course, I think some of y'all know I grew up in the Arlington area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, and watched a lot of Rangers games. Now I'm kind of rushing home after work to catch them. So whenever it's at this time, 6:38, 7 o'clock start, it's nearly perfect. So right now, we've got a 2-2 count. David Robertson, Kevin Pillar, bases loaded right now. It's really a shame that they had to use Robertson tonight. You would have thought this probably could have been an opportunity, with the game being 9-3 going into the later innings, for them to not have to use David Robertson. It is what it is. You got to win baseball games. The Rangers really can't afford to drop games at this point. So what I'm saying is you got to do what you got to do. If you got to use David Robertson, you got to use him. And David Robertson gets Kevin Pillar striking out swinging. Of course he does, right? This is what David Robertson does. He gets out of jams, gives you that 4-out hold, and hands the baton off to Kirby Yates. So I'm sure that we will be seeing David Robertson maybe in the 8th inning. If I had to guess, maybe we're going to go to somebody else in a clean inning with a 5-run lead. It wouldn't shock me if this is the only out David Robertson gets here. But I will say it wouldn't surprise me if he goes another inning either. You don't want to give this game away. You're up. It's 9-4. You don't want to take anything for granted. We talked about it on the live the other day. This just isn't a time right now for the Rangers to be trying to see if they can get away with getting through games without using certain guys. You got to win ball games right now. You're down 6 games in the division. I think it's 6 games with the Mariners losing a close one yesterday. You can't afford to see if you can just barely get over the finish line in some of these games. So on one hand, disappointed that they had to go Robertson and use him in the middle of a pretty busy week. I mean, I know they do have the Thursday off day before they go to Houston. So we'll see what happens. But let me pause here for a second. What's up to all my people coming in on YouTube? See some people coming in on TikTok as well. Thank you so much. Let me get to some comments here if I can. So first of all, on YouTube here, Natalie, what's up? It says, have you seen a lot of articles saying the Rangers could be big sellers at the deadline? Has CY said anything to indicate this? I'm glad you brought this up while we're on a commercial break here, with the Rangers game going to the top of the 8th inning after David Robertson gets a huge clutch strike 3 call. Actually, it was a swinging strikeout with the bases loaded. You're seeing the vultures, I think, kind of come out right now with the Rangers. So what I mean by that is the Rangers are the defending champs. They're kind of in the middle of a down season. Not kind of, they are. The Rangers are performing below expectations. I did notice that the quote that I saw in the article, I think Rosenthal came out with an article, a Rangers beat writer came out with an article, just going through different trade scenarios. Look, kind of like what we've been doing. Honestly, all those articles were today was like a more professional version of what we've been doing here at Right on Rangers. All we've been saying is, hey, if the Rangers go on a terrible losing streak, in all likelihood, here's who they're going to be trading. And the only quotes that were attributed were basically to rival GMs, right? The rival GMs are who are expecting the Rangers to be sellers at the deadline. Rival GMs. That's what the article today said. So that means maybe the Astros GM, Mariners GM, rival GMs are the ones who are putting it out there that the Rangers might be sellers at the deadline. Well, I mean, look, they're not saying anything that you and I haven't already talked about here on this show. The Rangers will be selling if they go on some kind of terrible losing streak. But with that being said, if the Rangers win ball games down the stretch to the All-Star break, if they can win games in July, they're not going to be selling. See why? The last thing he said, and the only thing that they actually quoted from Chris Young, Rangers president of operations, is basically like it's do or die time, right? We gotta start performing. And that was like a 2-week-old quote that was from those stories that came out today. So for me, it's easy to pick on the defending champs, easy to pick on them, especially in the middle of a down year. It's definitely content that gets people's attention, but CY has not come out and said the Rangers are going to be selling. So don't believe the article today, or don't take it as the Rangers will be selling. It's basically just a very professional, more professional way than what we've said on this show. If the Rangers don't play well over the next 2 weeks, here's who they might be trading. That's really all I take away from the articles that came out today. CY is looking for reasons to buy right now. Absolutely 100%. Chris Young is looking for reasons for this team to buy. And if the Rangers keep doing what they're doing tonight and what they did the past 3 games, I don't know if they're going to be big buyers. I see the Rangers maybe going out and potentially getting some depth pieces, maybe some bullpen pieces or a bullpen piece. Maybe you go get a right-handed power bat. That would be like the high-end luxury pickup at the deadline. Maybe you go out and just get a utility guy. I don't know. I'm not sure. A part of me really doesn't want the Rangers to go all out at the trade deadline. I'd just like to avoid the Rangers selling off players. And I've said that for the past several days now. But no, the articles that came out today about the Rangers, kind of a big nothing burger, in my opinion. Yeah, they basically listed out all the guys on 1-year contracts. Scherzer, Lorenzen, Heaney, Robertson, Yates. And hey, if the Rangers are still scuffling, here's who they're going to be selling. No duh. So kind of a big nothing burger for me, those articles that came out today. It gets people's attention. Rangers are defending champs. Maybe a little bit of a slow week so far. I don't know. But the reality is if the Rangers win ball games here over the next couple of weeks, you win at that 60% clip that we've talked about, 67% clip, basically winning 2 out of 3 games. You're not going to be selling players. The Rangers are 6 games out of a playoff spot right now with 70 games left, 71 games left, including this one. You're just not going to be selling players in that position. Now, you lose 5 in a row at this point, and the Mariners, for example. Eric, what's up, by the way, if you're still watching? Saw that comment from you. Thanks for tuning in, bud. If the Mariners go on a little winning streak, Rangers lose 4 or 5 in a row, now you're talking about selling players. But as long as the Rangers are winning games, whether the Mariners are winning or not, the Rangers have 7 games left against the Mariners right now. They have 6 or 7 games left against Houston, 3 coming up this weekend. You're not going to be selling players if the team's winning. And this game reminds you, granted, we're playing the Angels. The Angels are a scrappy team, but they're not a good team. This game tonight reminds you of what the Rangers were in 2023 and what they can be in 2024. This is a fun game. I mean, this was a really fun game. It's still going on right now. Leody Taveras is on second base, drew a walk. There's one out. Marcus Semien just walked. So runners on first and second here, one out. Jankowski flied out to left field to start the inning off. So we got Corey Seager up right now. I don't think Corey Seager in this game has hit a ball under 90 miles an hour exit velocity. So he had the home run in the first inning. That was an absolute bomb shot. That was like a 107 off the bat home run by Corey Seager up the hill out in center field in Anaheim. The next at bat, believe he hit a ball about 93 or 4, about 325 feet to left field. That was an out. Then he hit a double in the gap, about the same exit velocity. Corey Seager's locked in right now. Locked in. And when Corey Seager is locked in like this, that is truly when this Rangers offense becomes scary. And the Rangers have some other guys that are worth noting that are getting hot at exactly the right times right now. Corey Seager, by the way, just grounded into a double play, inning over. And we will be going to the bottom of the 8th at this point. So Corey Seager grounds into a double play, 87 miles an hour off the bat. So decently hit ground ball, but right at somebody. And we will head to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Rangers leading 9-4 at this point. Let's go ahead and let's start getting into the game. Let's talk about some of the things that have gone well. Let's talk about maybe a few little controversial things, at least among Rangers fans that I've been seeing. I'll throw some things out there. And then we'll, of course, give you the play-by-play as it comes. We got the game kind of split screen right now with the broadcast, so we'll do our best. We might be on a little bit of a delay, but we'll give you the play-by-play in between talking points. Thank you again for everybody who's tuned in right now. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of different options out there for Rangers baseball, but here you are hanging out with me, and I appreciate you. If you're not following the channel, if you're not subscribed to the account, please do so you can keep up with all of our latest and greatest content. Anytime we go live, you can get a notification. Hey, this is pretty much an open forum. We talk about just about everything on this show. Put it in the comments. You got to vent something out. You got a question. You got something that you want to get off your chest, Rangers baseball. You got something that you heard, something that you saw on Twitter, on X, online that you want to ask me about, go for it. Okay, that's what we're here for. And hey, just talking Rangers baseball. That's why we started this channel. Just love getting together with a bunch of good people, chatting ball. That's what this is all about. So let's go ahead and let's get into some of the questions here. So comment is for anybody who's listening. I know I've got some people on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, stuff like that. So if you're just listening, comment here says, do you think Langford has the highest ceiling of any homegrown Ranger? At this point, yes. I don't know if there's any guy in the Rangers system right now that I would say has a higher ceiling than Wyatt Langford. Wyatt Langford, I think at one point, maybe you could have put Evan Carter in that mix with how well Evan Carter played in the postseason. At one point a couple of years ago, maybe a Jack Leiter. But right now, I don't think there's any question that Wyatt Langford has the highest ceiling of any Rangers prospect right now, or young player, rookie, however you want to phrase it. Wyatt Langford, by the way, tonight, 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and an absolute bomb in the 7th inning. My goodness, he went down and got that one too. I don't know if y'all saw the Wyatt Langford home run, off-speed pitch, kind of went down and got it, and still got all of it. And, for those of you that have played the game, when you go down to get a pitch, it's not even like all of your power is put into that swing. When you're going down, kind of Adrian Beltre style, to go get a ball, that ball was launched, and Wyatt Langford didn't even have all of his power behind that one. That's what's scary. And we've said it on the show many times. Granted, it was with a metal bat, but Wyatt Langford, I think it ended up standing after this recent College World Series, still holds the record for the longest home run at the College World Series. So Wyatt Langford has some crazy raw power that he showed off a little bit tonight, no doubt. So good to see Wyatt Langford in the cleanup spot. Hey, Bruce Bochy, he must be watching Right on Rangers. Seriously. Did we not say Wyatt Langford must stay in the cleanup spot? After his 4-hit day yesterday, I just did not see a path for moving him out of the cleanup spot and getting Adolis Garcia right back into that 4-hole. I am so glad to see Bruce Bochy keep Langford in the 4 spot, and it's paid dividends. You see what this Rangers lineup can do. I know he's just one guy, but you see what this Rangers lineup can do when you have production from the cleanup spot. It changes everything. And in my opinion, right now, people respect Wyatt Langford's bat and fear Wyatt Langford's bat more than Dolly's. I think the book is kind of out on Dolly right now. It's his job to adjust. And Adolis Garcia, look, 1 for 4 tonight, does still have the 2 strikeouts, but 1 for 4 with the runs scored. Believe he had a single, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the game. By the way, we've got Leclerc on right now. He struck out Keston Hiura. O'Hoppe just popped out to Marcus Semien. So 2 outs. Jose Leclerc, is he going to get a clean inning? Is the unthinkable about to happen? Is Jose Leclerc about to go 1, 2, 3? Let's see, y'all. It's about to get real crazy up in here. If Jose Leclerc goes 1, 2, 3, some Rangers fans' minds might just explode. 1, 2, 3 inning incoming for Jose Leclerc. Here we go. So, look, I really feel confident, back to Wyatt Langford, that he is going to hold down this spot. He would have to go into a pretty bad slump. I can't imagine Bruce Bochy, being fickle and, Langford has a bad day, so you yank him from the 4 spot. I think at this point, and really they revealed, when I say they, front office, Bochy revealed the cards early. They wanted Langford hitting up at the front of the lineup. They wanted him hitting 5th, 6th at the beginning of the season. They even tried him, y'all remember, in the 3-hole. And it didn't work out for Wyatt Langford at the time. I think it was a lot of pressure for him. But Bochy in the front office, they totally had a tell on Langford early, that they wanted him in a productive role. And y'all, the unthinkable has just happened. Brandon Drury strikes out. Jose Leclerc gets the 1, 2, 3 clean inning. What is happening right now? What is happening? Leclerc with the clean 1, 2, 3 inning. Woo! Let's go. Let's go. It's a good night to be a Rangers fan. Man, I'll tell you what, I've been a Leclerc fan. He pitched in some big moments in October. I know that he can be more consistent. I know he gives up too many base runners. I do really like Jose Leclerc. On a serious note, it's good to see him pitching well. We need Leclerc. Some Rangers fans just don't get, we need Jose Leclerc to be doing well. I feel like some fans are out there just wishing for him to not do well. He needs to be our 7th inning guy. There's not a lot of better options out there. Bring it out. We haven't said this in a while. LeClutch. That was what a bunch of me and my buddies called Jose Leclerc last year in his crazy good run that he had in the postseason, leading up to the postseason. LeClutch. It's good to say that again. It's good to say that again. I'll tell you what. Appreciate that comment a lot, bud. Thank you. LeClutch. Man, it's still early. We need a few more 1, 2, 3 innings before we can bring that back. I think 100%, but you know what? It's getting there. Let's look at his numbers, though, over the last 7 games. And let's just see. The stats are always what we call the truth serum, because the eye test kind of gives you kind of a little bit of an insight. But really, for me, the stats, those are what I look at when it comes to a player's performance. There's more to it. You've got to read between lines sometimes. Jose Leclerc, over his last 15 games, look, the haters aren't going to like this. Leclerc has a 1.83 ERA in his last 15 games. That sounds like a dude that I want in my bullpen. 183 ERA in his last 15 games, last 15 outings, whatever you want to call it. That's a guy I want locking down the seventh inning. Has it happened? Is it always pretty with Leclerc? No, but we'll take it. We will take it. Absolutely. Oh, let me check comments here, by the way. Oh, Gio, what's up, my man? The Wyatt Langford home run was hit from the bottom of the zone. That's what we were saying. Langford didn't even have all of his power in that swing. Langford has some crazy raw power that I am so looking forward to watching get untapped. Oh, by the way, right now we are going to the top of the ninth. We've got former Ranger alert on the mound right now, pitching against us. Oh, goodness. This should be fun. This should be a good one. Looks like the Rangers, by the way, we're going to have who's up right now. Seager just got out, so it's going to be Smith, Langford, Doley coming up here. Right now, by the way, Josh Smith in a 3-2 count at the moment. Yeah, that Wyatt Langford home run was a ton of fun. And we're going to get to a bunch more comments here. I see they're coming in. Thank you, y'all. Makes the show more fun when we got comments. You guys know, those of you that have watched me, you know I can yap on forever and ever, but I still appreciate it a lot. So we have here, top of the ninth, 9-4 lead. This is looking pretty good for a 4-game win streak. Anything can happen here, but we're looking pretty good so far. Let's keep talking, though. Let's go through the comments. Let's keep it going. So we've got, going on a little early tonight. Look, with this being 11:10 in Texas, I figured let's get the party started a little bit early. This game might not be over till like 11:30 Texas time. I said, let's get the party going a little bit early. So that's what we'll probably try and do most of these nights, if I had to guess. I'm still trying to figure out a way maybe to head over to LA and watch one of these games. It's a crazy busy week for me. Usually whenever the Rangers are in LA, you can count me as basically there, but this is a crazy busy week for me and my family. So we might not make it happen, but we're definitely going to be going either to the Diamondback series, I think in September, or maybe even the LA series, which ends the year. So we'll make it happen one way or another. It's Hans. I always butcher the pronunciation. Is it Cruz? Something like that? I don't know. My bad on the pronunciation, y'all. I wish I was up on all of our guys, but I definitely recognize the name and the pitcher. So look, we'll see. So far, I don't know. I lost my. There we go. Adolis just struck out. Josh Smith flied out. Wyatt Langford grounded out. Quick 1-2-3 inning. But we're heading to the bottom of the ninth with a 5-run lead, and we will take it. Now, let me go ahead and head to one other comment here before we get back on track. The multi-homer game is the one thing we haven't seen from Langford yet. That's true, but it's got to be coming, don't you think? It's got to be coming. It didn't happen tonight. It seemed like, kind of had to feel like maybe tonight would be the night for it, but it's coming eventually. You know the Wyatt multi-home run game is coming. No doubt. I'm a big baseball stats guy. I know that I've maybe mentioned this a couple of times, but literally I'm the biggest nerd. I still get the sports page and the newspaper at my house every morning because when I was a kid, I loved going through the box scores, looking at all the stats. It's just something very sentimental to me. My stepdad, my dad both love doing the same thing. So I don't know. It's just something that I love about baseball, love about the game. So stats, always something that's going to be a part of our show. A lot of the time I have to do it on the fly, so y'all bear with me, but absolutely my love language as well. That was a pretty bad strikeout. Garcia's whipped 3 times tonight. Look, I feel bad for the guy. I want Doley to do well. I know that we have rapped on about Doley, get him out of the 4 spot, yada, yada, yada. look, it is what it is. He's not hitting well right now. He's not playing well right now. I don't think he needs to be benched. I don't think there's a whole lot of better options out there right now. But the at-bats tonight, he did have one hit, but the 3 strikeouts is not good. You want to see Dolly putting the ball in play, being selective, but you look at the strike 3. I mean, look, swinging strike on a changeup that was in the dirt. It's just a 1-2-3, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. Not good. Dolly is not in a good way right now. If he continues to do this, we're probably going to see him continue to slide down in the lineup. Personally, I would like to see Dolly hit 6th. I don't think that they're going to be able to move him down to 7th. I mean, he would have to do pretty bad, I think, to warrant moving him down to 7th. At that point, don't you almost think about starting to bench him or platoon him? Which is crazy to talk about. And I'm not advocating for that right now. I just said, Dolly, I don't think he needs to be benched, but I don't think that Dolly needs to be hitting 5th. I don't think he needs to be hitting any higher than 6th. I mean, I think 6th is a perfect spot for him right now. I'd really like to see Nate Lowe slide up into the 5 spot. Nate Lowe's on an absolute tear right now. Let's take advantage of it. Let's take advantage of it. Nate Lowe is on a freaking tear right now. 3 for 4 tonight. Average is up to 276. I read y'all the Lowe stats yesterday. Nate Lowe is hitting 370 in his last 7 games. That's a guy you want hitting as high up as you can, as high up that makes sense to. It should be Langford 4, Lowe 5. I think you're going to see them go to it if Dolly keeps giving you these kinds of performances. That was a really bad strikeout. Look, you would just like to see Adolis seeing the ball better. I know that there's, kind of the conversation all year. Is Dolly hurt? Is he ailing? We brought it up on the show. Y'all have brought it up in the comments. He might be, but even if you're injured, your eye up at the plate, you're a Major League Baseball player, your eye should not be this bad. It shouldn't be this bad. So I really feel like whether he's injured or not, it doesn't justify the terrible nature of some of the strikeouts that you're seeing here. I really hope Adolis finds that groove. I don't know how it's going to happen. He's getting the best coaching available right now. I know that there's some Rangers fans that hate on the hitting coaches and haven't liked the hitting coaches and the job they're doing. Look, I think hitting coaches do matter. I don't think that they're like totally irrelevant or just like totally doesn't matter. But I do think at the same time, don't you think that they're doing everything that they can to get these guys right? They have every single tool imaginable. I'm just not a big fire the hitting coach guy. I don't know. That's just me. I really don't think that that's really something that you need to be doing every year when a team isn't doing well. I'm not a big fire hitting coach guy unless it's 2 or 3 years of sustained suck. And I don't think that you can really say that for the Rangers right now. The Rangers just won the World Series. I'm not a big fire the hitting coach guy. Now, back to what I was saying with Dolly. He's a professional hitter. These guys are professionals. You know that they do their own thing individually. I don't know what it's going to take for Adolis Garcia to get right, but until he does, he doesn't need to be hitting up at the top of the order. He needs to be hitting 6th. I'd be hitting Nate Lowe 5th, Langford 4th, Josh Smith 3rd, Seager, Simeon, in that order, descending order, of course. And then we'll see what Dolly does. Does he get that fire lit under him and start playing well? I don't know. Josh Spore's in. And he just struck out Guillermo for the 3rd and final out of the game. Rangers win this one 9-4. I like Texas. Oh, yes. Very good, guys. Very good. 4-game winning streak. We got to take it. Mowed him down. Spores did. Mowed him down, baby. Love it. Josh Spores. Now, that's a game changer. We talked about Leclerc in the 7th inning. How about Josh Spores in the 7th inning? There we go. Sporesy. The guy that got the final out, that sealed the World Series championship. You get that guy going right. Now we're talking. The Rangers bullpen is going to be fine. I'm not a big proponent any longer of going out and wasting any capital on bullpen pieces. I don't see the value in it. I think your bullpen is fine. Yes, sir. I like Texas. Ain't it fine here? Love it. I don't think bullpen really needs a lot of help because you're going to be adding some of the starters, right? You're going to be adding the starters to the bullpen. Dane Dunning's already in the pen. I know he's hurt right now. We didn't talk about that on the show, but Dane Dunning on the injured list again. I think it's still I think if I remember correctly, it's still like the shoulder tightness, soreness, something like that. But Dane Dunning's in the pen. You got to think Andrew Heaney is probably heading that way. He might be staying in, though, because I think Cody Bradford, when he comes back, is going to be in the pen. So you got Cody Bradford in the pen. You got Dane Dunning in the pen. You got Spores. You got Leclerc, Robertson, Yates, Urania. Urania pitched very well today. I know he got into a little bit of trouble there in one of the late innings, but you guys know what I'm about to say. Anytime a guy is going multiple innings, it's tough. Urania goes nearly 2 innings, not his sharpest outing, but with how good Urania's been, a 2.78 ERA on the year. Look, I'm definitely not going to complain. I don't know if y'all saw this on the broadcast, but Urania topped out at 98. My goodness, 98. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. 98 from Urania. We've got a good bullpen, guys. We don't need to go out and buy anybody. Don't give up farm capital when you've got all these dudes out in the bullpen already. I don't know. I'm not big in giving up AAA guys, AA guys for bullpen pieces. The bullpen's fine. You've got Robertson, you've got Yates. What more could you ask for? We didn't even have a Robertson or Yates last year, really. I mean, we had Leclerc and Chapman in the 8th and the 9th, and then Spores emerged late as an 8th, 9th inning guy. But the bullpen's fine. If we're going to do anything, we got to focus on the right-handed power bat. And I think that's about it. Maybe if you're wanting to upgrade the catcher position, like, you know how we went out and got Hedges last year? Maybe if you're being picky, you go out and upgrade the backup catcher position. But they seem to really like Kisner. I mean, look, and I'm not a Kisner hater, but speaking of stats, Kisner's not been good defensively, in my opinion, or offensively. So maybe you go out and do kind of an Austin Hedges type move like they did last year. Now, with the Guardians being a playoff team, Hedges not going anywhere, right? He's going to be doing work for the Guardians in the playoffs. Hopefully we don't have to see him. Not that I'm worried about his bat, but just hate playing against the guy. Love that guy, Austin Hedges, former Ranger, World Series champion Austin Hedges. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm just thinking the only thing I would add at the deadline, is a bat, a right-handed power bat. And now with Nate Lowe actually hitting, you don't even need to go out and get a first baseman anymore. Hey, look, are we going to, this is a big question. I'll leave it up to you guys. Are we going to trust Nate Lowe now to do this consistently? Are we going to trust Nate Lowe to be this guy the whole way? I don't know. The past would tell you that he's probably not going to do this all year long. But I don't know with Nate Lowe going this well that Chris Young is going to rock the boat and go out and get a first baseman. For a while, we were saying here on the show that they needed to go out and do that. I don't know anymore. And when you start thinking about the lineup, it starts getting a little bit log jammed. So you assume you're going to have Simi, Seager, Smith. You're going to have Langford. You're going to have Nate Lowe. You got to figure they're going to ride with Dolly for as long as they possibly can, right? So then continue on from there. Now you're talking 7, 8, 9. Leote's hitting pretty well. Evan Carter's going to be back. Josh Young is going to be back. This lineup starts getting a little logjam. So even if you're a big fan of adding a bat, I don't know. I'm struggling to see the fit. Now, if you want to go out and make like a huge splash, obviously you're going to be able to make room for a top name, but I don't think the Rangers are going to go out and get a top name. I mean, maybe CY has something up his sleeve that we don't know about, but The only thing I could really see them doing, and I don't think it's anywhere on their radar or was anywhere on the radar. The only position you really could be upgrading at this point is Adoli's position, right field. I mean, and when Evan Carter comes back, you would assume he's going to be doing a little right field, maybe center field. If Leote stays hot, then maybe. I mean, I would say that's about the only position that makes sense. Maybe you go out, like I said, you still get that guy that can kind of platoon with Nate Lowe, but with Nate Lowe's Gold Glove, I think they want Nate Lowe playing every day. I really do. So I just don't know if there's any other position that I would really go out and get beyond an outfielder. I don't know. I just feel like with everybody else that they've got back, you write up the lineup from 1 to 9. It gets a little bit log jammed, especially with Josh Young and Evan Carter coming back. Look, there's nothing wrong. And I can imagine there's going to be some people upset, but there's nothing wrong with the Rangers not doing a whole lot at the deadline. There's nothing wrong with that. We're basically acquiring players at the deadline anyways. I mean, and look, bear with me, but you're getting DeGrom back, right? In August after the deadline. You're getting Malley back. Okay, you're getting Bradford back. You're getting Evan Carter back. You're getting like 4 guys back around the trade deadline. It's basically like acquiring a player. For me, I'm not really going to be too upset if the Rangers don't do anything. Now, if there's an opportunity, like I said, to go out and get a big name bat or just a guy that's going to provide better depth, because look, we love El Blondie. We love Jankowski. Love him. Great guy. But he's not giving you a whole lot right now. We love Robbie Grossman. I think you could upgrade from Robbie Grossman. So maybe you do some small upgrades like that, kind of bench upgrades. One guy we haven't really talked about a lot lately that I wanted to touch on is Zeke Duran. They need to get Zeke Duran right. I really watch this Rangers lineup right now, and I think to myself, you know what? Zeke was not going well before they sent him down to AAA. But I do say to myself, I think Zeke could be hitting better than Travis Jankowski right now. And look, you guys know, beginning of the season, I was a big fan of Jankowski getting at bats. New information, though, Jankowski is not hitting well. Not hitting well as a whole this season, at least. I think that they probably could be playing Zeke Duran right now and DHing with him. Jankowski 0 for 3 tonight, did have a run scored. Jankowski hitting 211 on the season. Look, that's about the only thing that I would look to do right now. About the only thing. Now, let me keep things rolling. So, going back to some comments here. I know I missed a couple. Let me go back here a little bit. What's up, bud? This is a YouTube comment. If the A's move to Vegas, looks likely you and your family can go see the Rangers games. You know what? We've talked a ton about that. It's going to be great when the A's are in Vegas because I am going to be going to a ton of Rangers games anytime they're in town. We'll definitely be going down there. Hopefully the tickets aren't crazy, but you know what? We'll at least go to a game when the Rangers come to town. Maybe 2 if the tickets are cheap. That's the goal. It's not going to happen for a few years, but we are really excited for the A's to come to Vegas just for the sole fact that the Rangers are going to be in town a lot more. So we love that. Absolutely. Although we never mind going out to LA, watching them play in San Diego or watching them play out at Dodger Stadium or Angel Stadium, all great places to catch a game. But having the Rangers in my backyard in a few years is going to be phenomenal. Thanks for the comment, bud. I really appreciate you. Let me see. Pitching. What's up, Nick? By the way, thanks for tuning in. Your pitching just needs to get healthy, and y'all will probably make the playoffs as a 5 seed or a 6 seed. Bats do need to warm up a little, though. Yeah, I definitely feel like the bats need to get going and need to be consistent. It does feel like they're coming around a little bit, but I'm a little bit hesitant. I don't know if this is fool's gold, if this is something that's going to last. I like to be glass half full. You guys know this, but I'm still a little bit jury's out mentality when it comes to the Rangers offense. I do truly hope, though, that we can sustain this success. I think that the Rangers can. They showed that they can do it last year. This team is capable of going on a run. And games like this make you feel a lot better about the prospects of that. But I agree, the pitching is going to get right. And the pitching has not been the problem the entire year. I do think this is the most likely scenario, 5 seed, 6 seed. The Rangers right now do have a better chance at winning the division than making a wild card spot, crazy enough. And I think now with the win, 5.5 games back in the division, 5.5 games back with 71 games remaining. I mean, that's very much within reach, very much so. Let me go to a couple other things here. Gio says, keep Garcia at DH. The only thing is Garcia is a Gold Glover, right? He is a Gold Glover. So a part of you wants his glove out there for defensive purposes. He's got a great arm. He's got a great glove. It's the bat that's terrible. So I don't know. I'm probably not a huge fan of DHing Garcia. I think you want him out in the outfield. Now, I'm sure he might get some reps there, but I think Garcia is a guy you probably want patrolling the green out there. It's just a matter of can his back get going. But I really like to see them move Nate Lowe up, bat him 5th. Dolly can hit 6th. You already made the move, taking Dolly out of the spot that he's maintained in the Rangers lineup for a long, long time. So you went ahead, you bit the bullet on putting Langford in the 4th hole. Now you can go ahead and you can move Garcia exactly where you want. It's been done. So I'd like to see them Nate Lowe 5, Garcia 6, see what happens from there, especially with Nate Lowe hitting so well. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. I agree. Langford, like I said at the beginning of the live, they wanted Langford in this role. They wanted Langford at a position in the lineup where he could produce and contribute. So it's not a shock that he's hitting 4th right now. Now, with how he was going, I think that there was a lot of concern because the Rangers really gambled on Wyatt Langford and on Evan Carter being producers this year. And when that wasn't happening, it was a big reason why the Rangers were in the spot that they were in early. Offense really sputtering. So it's no surprise that Wyatt Langford is getting going, and now suddenly the Rangers offense looks like it can actually do something. So I think Wyatt Langford is going to have every opportunity to really nail down that cleanup spot. I can't see Bruce Bochy being fickle with him. I think with guys like Langford, a rookie, you want them to feel confident, comfortable. You want them to feel like they can make a mistake and you're not yanking them out of whatever spot in the lineup or you're giving them a day off the next day. You want Langford to be feeling really, really comfortable, confident up there. So I think they're going to give him every opportunity to really thrive in that cleanup spot. That would be my guess. That would be my guess on Wyatt Langford. Now, let me keep rolling here now that we've kind of cleaned up comments a little bit. And by the way, keep them coming. You got something to add in, you got a question you want to throw my way, please do it. Marcus Semien, good to see him going 2 for 4 today with the walk. Semien on base 3 times. We told y'all the off day. The off day was huge for him back in the Diamondbacks series. We gave him an off day against the Diamondbacks. He came out in that Marlins series right after and absolutely crushed 5 for 11 in that Marlins series after he got the day off. Not a shock that he's coming out of that off day kind of on fire, right? He had the game-winning home run the other night, reaches base 3 times tonight. So 2 for 4, Simi was 2 singles. He had a run scored, 2 RBI. Love it. We talked about Corey Seager, 2 for 5 on the night. Had a deep bomb out to center field up on that green grass hill that the Angels have at their stadium. That was a missile. I mean, Corey Seager, when he is hitting like he's hitting, which to be exact, Corey Seager over his last 7 games is hitting .423 with a .464 OBP, .962 slugging, 3 bombs, 9 RBI in his last 7 games. When you're getting that from Corey Seager, when you're getting that from Siegs, you're not going to be losing a lot in stretches like that. So Corey Seager, doing great right now. Big reason why the Rangers are on this 4-game winning streak at the moment. Josh Smith goes 1 for 5, 290 average on the year. We talked Wyatt Langford, 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. Loving hitting cleanup, loving hitting in that 4-hole. Doley, we mentioned Doley already. We're going to skip past him. Nate Lowe, 3 for 4 on the night. We talked a lot of Nate Lowe. Jonah Heim goes 0 for after a 4-hit day yesterday. We'll forgive him. Jankowski, we covered 0 for 3 with the run scored. Leody Taveras, we haven't talked a lot of Leody, but Leody keeps on hitting. Leody 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI and a walk. You are going to just be happy as all get out if you can get this from Leody every night. If Leody can give us one time on base, I've said this like every night since Leody's been on this heater. Just give me one hit, one walk a night from the 9-hole. I will take it. Leody is on a different level right now. Leody Taveras, 458 average in his last 7 games. 500 OBP. My goodness. This has got to be a career heater for him. Meaning, I don't know if Leody has had a better stretch in his career than this right here. Maybe he has. Had a steal also. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. I don't think Leody has been on a hotter heater, a hotter streak than this. I just don't think that he has. 11 for 24, 3 walks, only 4 strikeouts in those 27 plate appearances. You're loving this from Leody Taveras. Look, they pushed the right button with him. They stopped hitting him against lefties. They started just saying, hey, you're the right-handed pitcher starter. Let's see what you can do. It was the exact right button to push. Give credit to the coaching staff. We don't always love the moves Bruce Bochy makes, but we got to give Boch and the coaching staff a ton of credit. They decided to make the tough decision. Leody was an everyday player for a lot of this year. They made a tough decision. We're going to platoon him. We're benching him against lefties. Now, with how hot he is right now, I don't know if they're going to stick to it. I'll be curious to see. I don't know if the Angels have a lefty that's starting over the next couple of days. They do have like Sandoval and who's their other lefty? Is it Canning or some? There's one other lefty that they have that's a pretty significant starter for them. But I don't know. Maybe they'll be facing one of those guys. So let's just check it out. We usually do this at the end of the show, which we're getting to here. But tomorrow, Contreras, right-handed starter. And Wednesday, it will be, Canning's a righty. So we actually missed Sandoval. We got nothing but righties this entire series against the Angels. So you're going to see Leody the rest of this Angels series. I am going to be interested when we face our first lefty starter, and it's been a little while. Are they going to stick with the platoon with how well Leody's been hitting, or are they going to just stick with what they've been doing? Personally, I'd like to see them just stick with what they've been doing. If you give Leody an off day against a lefty at this point, he's been playing for so many games in a row because we've been playing against really nothing but righties of late. It really wouldn't be a big deal. But if you are facing multiple lefties in a row, that is where it gets a little bit interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm curious. So let's go ahead. Let's check comments here. Again, John, thanks for all the comments tonight. Appreciate you, man. It says, Leody's showing real discipline at the plate, too. His swing just looks different right now. You guys remember in the Houston series when Leody launched that home run off Justin Verlander, ALCS? That's the kind of swing I see from Leody right now. And that ball was absolutely crushed, by the way. That home run that Leody had off Verlander in the ALCS. Right, that was one of really the only big hits Leody had all postseason. Right, he had that incredible play out in the field, robbing Alvarez of the home run. But Leody didn't get a hit in the World Series. That's not hyperbole. He literally went 0 for 15. And he didn't do too well in the Houston series either. But that home run off Verlander, that's the kind of swing that I'm seeing from him right now. So, John, I totally agree with your assessment. That is the kind of groove that he appears to be in at the moment. And Leody has some power, man. He can hit the ball a long way when he gets a hold of it. And I really feel like you got to take advantage. You got all of these guys that are hot right now. Nate Lowe, Wyatt Langford, Corey Seager, right? Leody Taveras. You've got all these guys that are hot. You've got to take advantage. I hope that they can ride this wave. I think at the beginning of the week, this might have been something that I just texted my buddies about, but my prediction for this week, I think we're going to sweep the Angels. I feel pretty confident we're going to be getting a sweep. Is it going to happen? Is that a guarantee? Of course not. Anything can happen. Baseball is a crazy sport. My prediction would be, I think we get a sweep against the Angels, push the winning streak to 6 games. In Houston, we'll see what happens. I think that big game is going to be Friday night. If we can win Friday night, I feel pretty good about winning the series. If we can get that first game. We lose that first game on Friday night, and I think anything's on the table. I could see us bouncing back and winning Saturday, Sunday. We've got Evo and then Gray on the mound Saturday, Sunday, I believe. I could see Houston taking 2 out of 3. I think if we win that first game on Friday night in Houston, I could see us doing very well the rest of the series, because when you're on a streak like that, it's just hard to stop. But if Houston can stop it in game 1, I think that everything's on the table with how the Houston series could go. That's my prediction, though. Sweep out in LA, and then Friday night, if we can get that first game, I'm not going to be shocked if they sweep the Astros. In that first game, if we can go out, I believe it's going to be Andrew Heaney on the bump. If we can go out and and win that first game, I could see a sweep. I think that would make it 7 games in a row? I don't know. I'm manifesting it right now, y'all. Either way, you know that we're homers on this show. We love Texas Rangers baseball. We're homers on this show. But I think you've heard me give pretty fair takes. When the Rangers are in a tough stretch, you haven't heard me just continue to rah-rah. You've heard me get on the team. You've heard me be real about how I think the team is going to do. So I am speaking as much truth as I can here. Take it with a grain of salt. That first game in Houston, I think, is going to tell you a lot about how the rest of the series is going to go. If you see a dominant win by the Rangers in game 1, I really do feel confident it's going to be a good series for us. Flip side, if it's a rough game 1, I think Evo might get us a win on Saturday. We'll see what happens. But we go into Houston with a 6-game winning streak, take that first game, make it a 7-game winning streak. Now we're talking. Cooking with gas. Let me get to some comments here. Our injury players are coming back, and we'll be a better team, no doubt. When they get Cody Bradford, Josh Young, when you get Malley, DeGrom, all those guys back, this is an elite team. It is an elite team right now that's underperforming and was bitten with the injury bug. I mean, seriously. So if the offense can continue on this clip, continue hitting well, there's no reason why this team cannot make a great push down the stretch. Look, they went on a 40-20 stretch last year. And remember, a good chunk of that was without Corey Seager. You guys remember, Siegs missed, a month at the beginning of the year last year? And we still won a ton of games, mainly because Zeke Duran and Leody were hitting out of their minds at the beginning of 2023. Both of them were hitting like over 300 for the first 2 months of the season. That was a big reason why, even though we didn't have Corey Seager, hamstring injury, we still were able to go 40-20 over our first 60 games. This team does have that capability. They have a 40-20 stretch capability in them. It's not like you sit here and say the Rangers could go 40-20 over their next 60. That shouldn't be a crazy comment to make. They absolutely could. Again, how they've been playing this year, does it seem like super, super probable? Not at this point, but it's trending positively. It's trending positively at the moment. We are going to keep on going here with some comments, and then we're going to wrap up the show with an AL West roundup. Not a lot of teams in action today, only, I believe, 7 major league games today. And then we will also take a look at the pitching matchup for tomorrow, go through each lineup, how they have fared against each opposing pitcher. And Scherzer on the bump tomorrow, Contreras on the bump for the Angels. Let me get to this comment, though. What's up, my guy, by the way? Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you. Go Rangers. Comment says, it's all about the offense. We have solid pitching to make a comeback. Couldn't agree more. The offense gets going. You know that this team is going to be dangerous down the final stretch of the last 2 months, 3 months of the season. I'm actually, it depends on how the Houston series goes. And look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got 2 more games left against the Angels. It's easy to sit here and think that we are just going to clobber the Angels the rest of the series. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But this almost feels like, no, why does the All-Star break have to be happening next week, right? We're just getting good. We're just getting into a solid groove here. Why do we have to take like 4 or 5 days off? That's kind of how I feel right now. I hope that they can just run completely, empty out of the gates after the All-Star break's over. But I don't know. I don't want the All-Star break to happen with how well this team's playing right now. I really don't. I think this is an interesting point. John, thanks for bringing this up. I actually had not thought about this angle yet. Adolis going back to Houston. Could that be a jump starter for him? That is a great comment and great insight. And I surely hope you are right, my friend. Could Adolis get jump started, get a kickstart in Houston? You know he's going to be here in the Boo Birds. Maybe that feeds him. Maybe something clicks in Houston. Adolis does love to play in the juice box. Marcus Semien, by the way, I was looking, again, stats nerd here, love stats. I was looking at the entire week and I was seeing how does each Rangers player hit in Angel Stadium? How does each Rangers player hit in Minute Maid Park? So we talked about on our video today how Corey Seager, statistically in 23 career games at Angel Stadium, has been a very good hitter. He's hit over 300. He had a couple of bombs, 10 RBI. So it's not a shock Corey Seager goes 2 for 5 tonight in Angel Stadium, hits a homer. This is a ballpark Corey Seager likes hitting in. He has great numbers here. Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia both hit over 300 in their careers down in Houston, I believe. Now, Semien for sure. I looked at Adolis and I looked at it a little bit quick. Maybe if you include postseason, I know he's hitting over 300. But Adolis and Semien, very comfortable in Minute Maid Park. I think Corey Seager has pretty good career numbers at Minute Maid Park as well. So a lot of Rangers like hitting in Minute Maid Park. That is the positive going to Houston. And look, a lot of us Rangers fans from the 2010s, we were a little bit scarred. At least I am. I'm going to open up a little bit here. The Rangers got their butts kicked a lot in Houston in the 2010s. Clearly at the beginning of the 2010s, in the peak of the Beltre, Hambone, Kinsler years, we still kicked Houston around quite a bit. Get into the mid-2010s, when Houston started building the dynasty, it 100% became a little bit of a house of horrors, I feel like, for us. You just didn't feel like the team would go down there and win a lot of ball games. But with this team conquering Houston in the ALCS last year, it feels like they have got a lot of confidence, a lot of swag anytime they play the Stros. It doesn't feel like this Rangers team plays Houston and has any kind of fear at all. And they shouldn't, with how well they finished out the ALCS last year. Absolutely. Let me keep going here. When the Rangers score 7+, Gio, you've been hitting on this all season long. Got to give you credit, and it's so true. And look, a lot of teams, I think this probably could be true for, but when the Rangers can give you, I would say, even 5 runs. Am I right? When the Rangers can score 5, I feel pretty confident they're going to win a game. I mean, look at tonight. If the Rangers would have just scored 5, they win 5-4. Robertson and Yates probably lock it down. When this Rangers team can score 5 runs, I feel pretty dang good about them winning the game. Look, 4 runs, it's iffy, it's questionable. I think a lot of nights 4 runs would get the job done. How many games have we lost? How many games have we lost 3-1, 2-0, 3-0, 4-2? How many games? It's been a lot. And I think the stats would back me up here. The Rangers, for being 5 games under 500 at this point, the Rangers have a plus 13 run differential. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the Rangers are losing a lot of close games. And it's not because they're blowing leads. It's because they're getting really good starting pitching performances and the offense is not coming through. They're losing a lot of 3-1, 2-0, 3-2, 4-2 ball games. The Rangers have lost so many games like that. I'd be interested to see, Texas Rangers fans only, back me up here. I'd be interested to see how many games have the Rangers lost this year by more than 4 runs. How many games have they lost this year by more than 4 runs? I would imagine it's not a ton. I would imagine there are more losses 4 or less than 5 or more, for sure. Maybe even take that down 3 or more. I mean, there are a lot of games that we have lost by 3 runs or less, I feel like. I just don't feel like this team, there hasn't been many games this team has just gotten their teeth kicked in. It's happened a few times. Obviously, Kisner was pitching one time. I can remember that absolute blowout. There's been a few blowouts, but it feels like there's been a lot of losses. 3 run or less, 4 runs or less. Not a lot of 5+. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I would just love to see the stats. Look, 7+, a lot of teams are going to win games when they score 7. I really feel like this Rangers team gets to 5, even 4, and they've got a legitimate shot to win a ball game. 100%. I will. I'll definitely, if you get back to me, I'll definitely put it in the podcast and make sure I attribute it back to you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you a lot. So let me go ahead and let me start talking through the rest of the box score. Almost done with it. We've gone through all the hitters. We did get a Robertson appearance, just that one out, big strikeout with the bases loaded. David Robertson doing Robertson things. I feel like he got snubbed a little bit. I think Robertson should have been an all-star. I'm happy Kirby Yates made it to the all-star game. I really do feel like David Robertson should have been an all-star. I don't know. I know that he's blown 4 or 5 save opportunities, technically speaking, right? If you blow a game in the 8th inning and it's a 2 or 3 run, 1 run lead, you blew a save opportunity, even though it's not the 9th, right? So I think Robertson has blown about 4 or 5 saves technically this year. But look, Robertson has been, I still think, one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball this year. So I really feel like he should have been in the All-Star game. 3.11 ERA. I'm sure there's guys with some better ERAs, but I feel like Robertson got snubbed a little bit. 19 holds for David Robertson. I don't know if I'm going to be able to easily find the holds leaders. Maybe I can do that real quick on the fly. I'm going to try and do that real fast while I'm talking to y'all. So a hold is basically as good as a save, right? If you get a hold, you didn't give up a lead when you came in the 7th inning or the 8th inning. Saves are for the 9th inning primarily, or if you come in the 8th and you pitch the 8th and the 9th, you get a save. Let me see, though, if I can find holds here. It's not super easy to find it because it's not a very sexy stat. It's just not. Everybody loves the wins and the saves, but not going to be able. Let me go expanded here. Maybe they'll have it in expanded. Oh, yes, they do. So David Robertson, top 5 in MLB in holds. How about that? David Robertson has 19 holds on the year. There are, let's see, 5 guys that are ahead of him. Brian Abreu for the Houston Astros has 19 as well. Cano for Baltimore, Kittredge for St. Louis, Harvey for Washington, Jojo Romero for the Cardinals leads with 26 holds. So David Robertson, top 5 in holds in Major League Baseball. I mean, look, that I think is all-star worthy for sure. Top 5 in holds in Major League Baseball. So David Robertson, I think he got snubbed a little bit, but you know what? Understandable. There's probably some guys that have a little bit more gaudy numbers than he does, but all-star in my book. We talked about Leclerc, finally got him a clean inning. Love it. And Spores, back-to-back outings, looking pretty good. If Spores can come around and just continue to be solid for us, just like he was in the postseason last year, Leclerc and Spores in the 7th inning, that's awesome. Like I said, the Rangers don't really need to add a lot of bullpen depth at this point. Can we just add maybe a good power bat somewhere in the lineup? Right-handed, preferably. I think that's all the Rangers need. I don't think they need to be huge buyers. The people that are saying that the Rangers need to go out and buy a bunch at the deadline, I don't get it. The team, I think, is fine. You don't want to give up a ton of farm system capital right now. You've got a good team. You've got pretty much everybody that won the World Series for you last year, minus Chapman and Garver and a couple of other guys. So I don't think you need to be a big buyer at the deadline. Just maybe go out and get that power bat. I don't even know if the Rangers are going to be able to do that. The lineup gets awful crowded. Maybe a depth guy, maybe a utility guy. Even that, I don't know. But can we just not be sellers? Let's keep playing well. Let's not be sellers at the deadline. More comments here. We are a better team than the record shows. 58-37. Hey, I could see something like that. I could see something like that for sure. It's hard in baseball with the injuries to know. I don't think this team is under 500 if everybody's healthy the entire season. I don't think this team's under 500. They're at least 5 games over 500, if not better. If not better. So let's keep going here. What's up here? Thanks for the comment. Sorry, y'all. I got to do a little verification from my people on TikTok. Keep the live going. Thanks for everybody who's tuning in. By the way, if you're not following the account or subscribe to the channel, appreciate you doing so. Keep up with every time we go live, all of our latest and greatest content. Thank you for watching today. Garcia, if he can come around, that would just take the Rangers to a totally elite level beyond even what they're doing right now in the groove that they're in offensively. But Wyatt Langford is is filling in for what Garcia should be doing. What we're getting from Wyatt Langford right now is what Dolly should be for us. So if Dolly can come around and start being the guy, or even like a step below the guy that dominated October last year, this team is going to be even scarier. I just don't know what it's going to be for Adolis Garcia. He's got the best coaches around him. He's got all the tools, all the help around him. It's just not clicking right now. I don't know what it's going to take, but if they can get Adolis Garcia right, look out. This offense is going to be scary. One thing, by the way, random thought, little bit of a tangent here, and then I'm going to bring it back. The Seattle Mariners, for how good they are, 6 games above 500, they have a worse run differential than the Rangers do. Isn't that wild? Run differential doesn't tell the whole story, but the Rangers are plus 13 run differential. So basically, like all run differential is, for anybody that doesn't know, not trying to talk down to anyone, but look, when we get nerdy with the stats, we like to break it down. Run differential is just total runs scored, right? Minus runs scored against. So if the Rangers have scored 100 runs all season, for example, and opposing teams have scored 97 runs off them, the run differential is plus 3. Okay, if you flip it, Rangers have scored 97 total, opponents of the Rangers have scored 100, it's a minus 3 run differential. So look, it doesn't tell you everything, but it's kind of crazy that the Mariners are 6 games over 500. The Rangers are 5 games under. So an 11-game difference, basically. And the Rangers have a better run differential than the Mariners do. It's pretty wild to me when I saw that earlier today. Pretty wild. Now, the rest of the box score, I don't think there's anything really else notable to talk about. One stat that I'm going to close on, we're going to end on a positive with our box score review. 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Wow. 5 for 9 Texas was tonight with runners in scoring position. My goodness. Phenomenal. Love to see that stat. 5 for 9. How many 1 for 10s, 1 for 8, 1 for 9, 0 for 6 have we seen in a Rangers box score this year? So to see 5 for 9, incredible. Incredible. We talked about this too with the Mariners. Thanks for adding this in. Mariners, I think, have the lowest batting average in Major League Baseball. They do hit a lot of home runs. Like Mitch Garver, sub 200 average. I think he's hit double-digit home runs this year for the Mariners. Like 12, 13, 14, something like that. So Mariners use the home run ball, and they also have really good starting pitching. They do. So that's been a big recipe for their success this year. Is it sustainable over 162 games? I would tend to think no. But if the bats can catch fire, that's a dangerous team. I'm interested to see what they're going to do at the deadline. I think that's going to be really curious. What are the Astros and what are the Mariners going to do at the trade deadline? Clearly, they're not going to be selling, but what are they going to buy? I think that is going to be something to watch because both those teams are probably going to be more active than the Rangers because crazy enough, both of those teams have bigger holes than the Rangers do right now. Maybe that's a hot take to some people. I don't know. I think both the Mariners and the Astros have bigger holes to fill than the Rangers do right now. The Rangers are injury-plagued and underperforming. There's not really a lot of holes for them to fill at this point when everybody is going well. What you're seeing with the Mariners is pretty much everybody healthy and still a league worst batting average. Now, the Astros do have some pitching injuries and stuff like that. So, okay. The offense, I think, is pretty healthy for the most part. But the pitching, I know, has been a little bit of an issue for the Astros. I am curious to see what both those teams do come July 30th. That will be very interesting. Now, let's go ahead. Let's get to the matchup for tomorrow. Max Scherzer on the mound. Contreras going for the Angels. Should be a good opportunity for the Rangers to win a series. Max Scherzer has pitched very well in his 3 starts since coming off the IL. I absolutely feel confident the Rangers get a win tomorrow with him on the mound. I would imagine that they're going to be pretty big favorites. Contreras for the Angels. 4.04 ERA, 1-1 record on the season. His last 3 games, he has been not going very far into games, and looks like on the season he only has 2 starts, 5 relief appearances. But he started in Oakland, gave up 2 runs in 2 2/3 innings, had 3 walks in those 2 2/3. He pitched against Oakland both the time before that too, so back-to-back outings against Oakland. 3 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. That was on June 26th, and then he pitched against the Dodgers, 1 scoreless inning, 3.95 ERA in his last 7 games. I don't know. I think it could be a little bit of a mixed bag. Contreras, righty. Rangers do hit well against right-handers. So I definitely think that with Max Scherzer on the mound, with a guy that does have some major league experience, 64 total games in the league, 202 major league innings, definitely a guy with experience. But this is a career 4.72 pitcher, 4.72 ERA for Contreras in his career. This is a guy the Rangers should be able to hit. And it looks like there are 2 guys in the Rangers lineup that probably won't even be playing tomorrow. So Grossman and Kisner are the only guys that have at bats versus Contreras. Grossman is 0 for 3. Kisner is 0 for 4. So look, maybe a good thing that they're not playing tomorrow. On the other side, against Scherzer, Drury is, I think, 1 or 2 for 14. Guillermo is 3 for 6. Moniak 0 for 3 against Scherzer. Pilar is the guy you probably pencil in the Angels lineup for tomorrow. Pilar is hitting 3 for 8 with 2 home runs off Scherzer. So Pilar, probably the only guy you're worried about tomorrow. The Angels catcher, one of the catchers, he probably isn't even going to play tomorrow. Tice is 0 for 2. So not a lot of guys in the Angels lineup have experience with Scherzer. Max Scherzer, 2.70 ERA on the year. 3 games this season, and he's given up 5 runs in 16 innings. So, you know what? Scherzer, I think, is going to pitch well tomorrow again. Feel pretty confident the Rangers win game 2, win the series, go for the sweep on Wednesday. At least that's the plan. Now, let's go ahead and let's look around MLB. There weren't a lot of games that were going on today, only about 7 games total in Major League Baseball. And I believe the Angels and Rangers were the only AL West teams that were playing. So the Rangers gained a half game on both the Mariners and the Astros tonight. And they will look to continue to improve on that tomorrow. So the standings read as follows. Mariners are in first place. They lead the division by 2 games over the Astros. They hold a 5.5 game lead on the Rangers. Rangers creep to within 3.5 games of the Astros. So it's very likely that the Rangers will have an opportunity down in Houston to pull even with the Astros for second place if they can do well in that series. So big implications in the division. On the flip side, the Rangers don't do so hot in Houston. That division lead, that gap starts to get a little insurmountable. Hopefully, though, Rangers will continue to play good baseball. Even if they only get 1 out of 3 in Houston, which I think the Rangers can get 2 out of 3 in Houston, even if they only get 1, I still think they're in a good position, especially if they can sweep the Angels. 7 games out of a wild card spot. So again, a full game and a half difference. Right now, the division is more winnable than a wild card spot. Crazy enough, but that is what it is. Rangers 4-game win streak, 5 games under 500. Good night to be a Rangers fan. Very good night to be a Rangers fan. Let me look at the MLB headlines, and then we will get out of here, y'all. So let's go ahead and let's see. On the front page, Cy Young talk. We got Scooble in the Cy Young race. We got Chris Sale, National League Cy Young race, Ranger Suarez. So some Cy Young talk going on. Not a whole lot beyond that. Bobby Witt Jr. going to be joining the Home Run Derby. I really think they got to get somebody from the Rangers in the Home Run Derby. They seem to do that every other year for anybody on the home team side that is a power guy that maybe didn't make the All-Star team. I think either Seager or Adolis probably are the guys that you're going to have. I think one of those guys needs to be in the Home Run Derby. So all we've got is Simeon Yates, which is great. You would have loved to have seen some more Rangers get into the All-Star game mix. I really think they've got to have either Seager or Garcia participate if they're willing. Come on, it's in front of the home fans. This doesn't happen all the time. Every other team that hosts seems to get the token participant in the Home Run Derby. Come on, let's have one of the Rangers players be in the Home Run Derby. Put Wyatt Langford in the Home Run Derby for all I care. I really think they got to get one guy from the Rangers in the Derby. I would really like to see it. I think it would be a feel-good move. I don't know if MLB decides it or how they decide it, but I really think somebody's got to step up and be in the Home Run Derby. The fans, I think they're owed it. Rangers fans, super loyal fan base, have rode with this team through all the ups and downs. You don't get many all-star games in Arlington. Somebody from the team has to step up and participate in the Home Run Derby. Give me Langford, Doley, or Siegs Home Run Derby participants. I don't think Marcus Semien is the guy. You know, he's already going to be a reserve. I think get somebody new that wasn't a selection. Give me Langford, Garcia, or Siegs. One of those 3. Come on now. Somebody step up. And that's the thing, too. I don't know if anybody's stepping up. In the past, I mean, we've had a few guys from the home team, the host team, do some politicking. We don't have a lot of schmoozers and politickers on our team. I don't feel like mostly it's guys like keeping their head down. They just want to play ball. I get it. Seager is kind of like that. I respect him a lot for it. I don't think Seager is lobbying to be in the Home Run Derby. Somebody's got to twist Seager's arm. I don't think Doley probably needs a whole lot of arm twisting, but with how bad he's doing right now, sometimes guys kind of say, no, I want to focus on my swing, and yeah, I don't want to do home run derby because I'm not hitting well right now. One of those guys, though, I really hope steps up and gets in the home run derby. That'd be a lot of fun for the fans. A lot of fun. Grammar, thank you. Yay for grammar. We got it right. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. We gone long enough, haven't we? This is our longest live ever. My wife was giving me a hard time. Every time we go live during a game, it always becomes our longest lives ever. And she was right tonight. So, you know what? It is what it is. We had a lot of good things to talk about tonight. It's always more fun getting on these after a win, especially on a 4-game win streak. Gotta love it. So before I leave, I always ask, if you're not following, you haven't subscribed to the channel or the account yet, please do so. If you know a Rangers fan, somebody that loves Major League Baseball, please share this video with them. Tell them about the account. I would really appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Monday night and a good week ahead. Join me again. We'll be going late night. It is what it is. We got to go late night with these Pacific time zone start times out in LA. It is what it is. But join me late night right on Rangers. We're going to be here. Come back again tomorrow night. Hopefully, I'll see you later on in the week, either live or on the replay. Thank you again, everybody. And as I always say to end every show, God bless. Go Rangers. We'll see y'all